Story, a rewatch podcast where we watch the movies of our childhood, along with Tepper, a grown man who has never seen them before. I'm your host, Ivan.
I'm Chris. I'm in it to win it.
I'm Shana. I'm funky, and I'm flesh.
I'm Tepper, and I've been kidnapped by the other two people and forced to be in this podcast. Please, get help.
Never mind that. This week we will be watching Rock-a-Doodle, directed by Don Bluth, released in 1991. This is the only Don Bluth movie to contain live action. Chris brought us this movie. Why?
When I was little, I got taken to my nonna, which is Italian for grandmother that force feeds you. And I was taken there a lot. And she had certain movies that she felt were appropriate for children that had been taped off of TV. These included things like Ben-Hur. But also this movie, which I probably watched like 50 to 100 times in my childhood because it was the movie that we watched when we went there. And I have very strong opinions about it, but I don't want to taint anyone's view, so I think I'm going to save them until after we've seen it.
Does anyone else have any connection to this film?
I have never watched this in my life.
I owned a VHS copy. I think despite our large collection of taped off the TV, I think this was an actual legitimate copy of this movie.
Fancy. I
saw it a handful of times. Probably far more than I'm remembering, but not enough to fully resonate. I remember scenes very well, though.
It's also like about a farm. I grew up on a farm, so like movies about farms were big. Like Babe and Fox and the Hound and stuff. That kind of like country Harrowsmith life shit.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to use movies as a method of escapism or anything.
Oh, no. Well, this is also the part of my life where I wasn't choosing things, and my parents, like, they were very good at, like, forcing things on me and then assuming I loved them. Like, one of my jobs was taking care of the chickens when I was a kid, and there were, like, 5 years where everyone got me, like, stuff with chickens on them for, like, my birthday all the time. Yeah, and eventually I had to say, like, I don't like chickens. This is my job. Stop giving me chicken crap.
All right, we are now showing Tepper the poster for the first time. Tepper, what do you think this movie's about?
Once again, please describe to us the poster.
There is a ripped Elvis Costello chicken with one of the sickest pompadours I've ever seen.
Interesting choice of Elvis there.
Yeah, very specific with the Elvis.
That vibe,
Yeah, not a Presley though, a Costello.
There is the obviously bad guy because of the eyebrows, which is the weird bird that looks like a devil head got like attached to a really fat bird.
He's a horned owl.
Okay.
Spoilers.
Yeah, wow.
This came across as an owl to me immediately upon looking at it.
Yeah.
Shana is our resident animal expert, though.
Yeah. There is a kid wearing... Oh, I can't remember the name of them.
Davy Crockett hat?
Yep.
Yeah.
Rocket hat.
Yep. Looks like a dog. The token female character, a duck, and the kid, the Davy Crockett kid, in a boat. And it says a Don Bluth film, Rock-a-Doodle, and it's like a musical bar. The rousing, rollicking adventure of the world's first rockin' rooster.
There are two other characters on this poster that you didn't notice.
Oh.
Actually, to be fair, there's three, though I don't think those fish are important.
Is in the nest? like the crow's nest of the boat.
Yeah, there's one there.
Yeah, I can barely see.
Yeah, it's pretty low quality. I think it's a mouse.
Yeah.
There's also 2 little fish, but those might just be fish. It's been a long time.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if my parents own this. I don't think I ever, like, I definitely don't think I've watched it, but I wouldn't be surprised if my parents had it sitting around somewhere, because the cover seems vaguely familiar, or maybe that's just me, like, because I've watched An American Tail, I've watched The Land Before Time, and I've watched the All Dogs Go to Heaven sequel. So
this is a very, like, Don Bluth's style is very distinct, so you could just be remembering other Don Bluth movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is like my familiarity comes from I've watched some of his other movies, so yeah. And then there's a city in the background.
Yep.
So I feel like the owl is based on the color palette chosen for him. He's the bad guy, and main characters are the kid and the rooster.
All right.
And yeah, and it obviously has probably a very heavy musical theme running throughout the movie.
Reasonable guesses.
Mm-hmm.
I like how the owl's on a branch that's coming out behind the sun.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, anterior sun branches.
What, you never seen one of those before?
All right. See you after the film.
Uncle Juki, I got him.
If I kill my nephew, would that be murder or charity?
And we're back. So, what did everyone think?
Don Bluth is a genius.
He's a very good animator. My thing I didn't want to say before is I hated this movie as a kid. Like, this was oh god, we're going to notice, so we have to watch friggin' Rock-a-Doodle.
Yeah, again, like I said earlier, I owned it to some degree, and I definitely saw it a few times, but it was not my go-to by any means.
Yeah, like if I was a kid watching this movie, like, probably, like, there's thinking about it, there's probably 10, 15 films easily animated alone that I would put above this movie.
Yeah, it was alright, but nothing special, nothing great.
I think I really enjoyed watching it because it's been a long time since I've watched animated movies from this era. So it really took me back to, like, watching it. Like, it wasn't, how do I say, like, it wasn't anything special, but, like, because I hadn't watched any movies similar to it in a while, I was pretty into it. Like, I really enjoyed it.
Crazy.
I was definitely engaged the whole time. Like, I wasn't bored. And I like it more as an adult than I did as a child, that's for sure. Because as a kid, it was just, like, disappointing.
I like pretty much all of the villains' musical numbers.
So good.
The batteries are dying.
So good.
But it's like, okay, this is the thing I want to talk about. Is this a musical?
I mean, well, what is the technical definition of a musical?
Well, that's kind of what... So, usually in a musical, people, like, express their feelings by suddenly bursting into song, and that is, like, other people also burst into song, or it's treated as normal. Whereas in this movie, the owls have their little, like, operatic chants that they do that aren't quite songs. And Chanticleer sings some songs, but he's singing songs in the fiction, too.
I think the owls are in a musical. I don't know if the other characters are.
They're in, like, an opera, maybe.
They sing what they're doing and what they want to do. Like, that seems pretty musical to me.
Okay, yes, that I would agree on that front.
I guess technically Chanticleer sings what he wants as well, but that's just because that's what his songs are. they are blues, so they're about him being sad.
Yeah. If this was a musical, it was a very weak musical.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't like
Soft
like
musical.
Yeah, like I'm not a huge fan of musicals. Animated musicals, I'm much more willing to watch.
You pretty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang.
So I gotta say, Tepper, like with the exception of it being about music, you pretty much nailed this one.
Thank you. Yeah, that. But I mean, like honestly though, that poster was basically nailed down the movie really well.
It was broadcasting.
It didn't really bring up the fact that the Duke is completely magic, or at least his mouth is.
Oh, his ill-defined like god powers.
Yeah.
That he's very restrained with his use of those. By the way,
He sure is. I mean, like, he hired some punk rooster to fight Chanticleer instead of just exploding him or whatever. Or becoming giant and eating him.
burying him in the earth. He has many powers.
I think that's a power move. Like, I could kill you, but I don't even want to bother. I'm going to send someone else.
I'm gonna get you a musical career.
Well, I mean, it's even like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to turn all your friends against you and make them force you out for me.
And get you a stable music career.
With a greedy manager.
Do you think that the Duke of Owls knows Chanticleer's real power, and that this was like all an elaborate scheme by him the whole time?
Yes, he does know that Chanticleer brings the sun. Like that.
He
knows.
doesn't do that.
I mean, he does do that though.
Mm-mm. In the last song, it is revealed that Chanticleer does not sing up the sun. He has the power to murder clouds.
That makes sense.
But also, he brings up the sun.
No, he just sings. He's a rooster, so he sings in the morning. And they
Yeah.
all thought he brings up the sun, but he doesn't actually do that. He just sings away clouds.
But when he sings, we see the sun come up. And then the clouds are murdered. Like, it zooms back into space, and we see the sun rise over the horizon. It wasn't there already behind the clouds. It was on the other side of the planet, which does not exist.
Is that when he turns into a laser?
Yes, it's when he
Okay.
it's when he goes Super Saiyan. We get a reuse of the animation from the beginning, where the sun rises and there's like huge like solar flares across the horizon.
I wrote that down like, oh my god, in this universe the sun shoots fireballs at the earth.
And that is why Chanticleer is king, because he controls those fireballs. He chooses who lives and who dies.
Yeah, like my lore for this is like Chanticleer is some kind of like god of the sun, and he gained his power from the belief of his friends, and then when the sun rose on its own, he lost that power.
Interesting.
And then he is obviously opposed by the god of darkness, the owl.
Yeah, that's basically the movie.
Yeah, so like, I guess like, unless you guys have any like other brief thoughts, like let's jump into discussion.
I think the reason this movie didn't really resonate deep with me was it felt the story was like a simple fairy tale. Like, I didn't see a good story in this.
To be fair, it was by definition a simple fairy tale because it was a book.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
had the feel of a watery fairy tale, like a fable. It didn't really have the feel of a movie to me.
That's fair. It's like comes in under an hour as well, and 9.5 minutes of that is credits.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. That's crazy because it's like 77 minutes, but 9 of it is credits, so it's not even an hour. Jiminy.
Yeah, it's a 57-minute movie and 9.5 minutes of credits, which were originally sped up on the VHS release.
When you have to hand in a 10-page essay, but you've only got 9 pages of content.
You just put in some owls chanting about batteries.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm sure if we looked at the story itself, like the story like, I guess I can see what Shana's saying. I really
It's
feel
fine.
like,
It's just predictable.
yeah, it is very predictable in its structure, but I felt like it pulled it off in like an above adequate way. Like, even though I knew what was going to happen, I wasn't bored watching it happen. And I think that's always a mark of a good movie. The characters especially helped carry this movie, I feel like. Especially the mouse.
Yeah.
Peepers was like right from the start. I was like, yeah, this is my hero right here.
She put that team like on her back and like carried them to victory. like she everyone's like, oh, it was like, God damn it, guys, fuck, I'll do it myself.
And
like,
she never lost a single modicum of hope.
Yeah, like literally.
Yeah.
Rock-a-Doodle. What's his name? I want to say Clarence. I know that's right.
Chanticleer.
Yeah, Chanticleer. He's unconscious, and she's trying to just drag him herself. Like, no, we can't move him. And she's trying to move him like she could move him herself with full confidence. Like, get up here and move him.
She hijacks a helicopter.
Yeah.
From a
Yeah,
water
we think
tower.
she's dead.
Somehow.
Yeah, how did she get there?
She drives a car. She, like, there is nothing she can't do.
She hits on an 8-year-old boy when he's a cat and a human. And unconscious.
She's a mouth of taste.
Our introduction to her is Edmund, who's the little boy who gets turned into the cartoon cat, like, gets very... he's always being like, I'm a little cat now, I can't do fuck all. And she's always going up to him being like, I'm like an eighth your size and I do tons of shit.
Get on my level, bro.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I'm too small to climb that fence. I'm not.
And I'm smaller than you.
Yeah. Like, I can't do it. Fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Fuck.
She's great.
How about our other female character, Goldie? She brings so much to the movie.
Yeah, she's like part of that, the thing that Shana was talking about, where it's like, it's very predictable, her story arc. You know kind of what's going to happen with her as soon as she's introduced.
Yes.
Yeah, she's pretty much the female damsel in distress character.
I wouldn't even say she was a damsel in distress. She was just like, I'm trying to think of the name. I'm sure TV
The name
Tropes
for
has
that archetype of like,
Yeah.
You were sent there by the. It's basically Smurfette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you were sent there to do a job, and then the job becomes real, and then you turn.
Yeah.
I'm sure TV Tropes has like a specific name for it, but yeah, like she wasn't very damsel. Like, I can't really think of a moment where she was really in.
Yeah, like
peril.
Love-struck spy.
Yeah, that would be the best way to describe it.
She just wanted a number of her own. She wanted to sing.
But yeah, like she's an element of that story where it's like, okay, we already know where this is going. Like, we already know what's going to happen because we've seen that type of archetype done, many times before. Yeah, like I really feel that this movie was heavily carried on by one, absolutely incredible voice performances. Like, I believe it's Christopher Plummer. Yeah, Christopher Plummer as the Duke turned him from a like meh, kind of like typical villain into, oh my god, this owl is amazing. I hope he wins. Like, just the way he delivers the voice lines, he does the sing, like, and so like he did an incredible job. Phil Harris, who I found out this was his last movie. He was the dog.
Oh yeah, he was Patu. Yeah.
And the narrator, yeah.
Yeah, he was also Little John in Robin Hood, another one of my favorite childhood movies.
He was O'Malley in the Aristocats.
Yeah. He was Baloo the bear in Jungle Book. Like a legend in that case, and he did a great job. Also, his character in the movie was also really good. Like, another one where, like, I thought, like, initially with the introduction, I thought the dog would just be like the old just the old dog, and it's like, no, this dude has fight in him, and that was really cool.
It's got bite in him.
Yeah. And it's also interesting because a lot of these voice actors show up in Don Bluth's previous movies as well. So the guy who plays Hunch, I can't remember which animal that is. He was also in All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Hunch is the owl that is constantly trying to rhyme with Abomination, or what? The very annoying character that you hate.
He was also so I haven't seen All Dogs Go to Heaven, but it just says he was the killer in All Dogs Go to Heaven, Don Bluth's previous movie, and he was Lort in A Troll in Central Park, which is, I believe, another movie on our list.
I mean, yeah, both of those are.
Yeah, we're gonna end up watching a lot of Don Bluth movies.
Yeah, so there's just and then like Eddie Deason, who I can't remember what character he plays in Dexter's Laboratory.
Man, dark.
Yeah.
Ah ha ha, ah ha 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 ha.
Yeah. So, yeah. Which is Dexter's rival, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
He was in Disney's Recess as, I can't remember what character.
He has a bunch of like 1 or 2 episode roles in a bunch of classic Disney shows.
Yeah, I was looking at his
and
list,
other
and he is
animated shows.
He has a lot of just random, a couple episode stuff. But his voice was very distinctive. Like as soon as that character spoke, I was like, "Holy crap! I recognize that."
The voices are all very distinctive. Like Hunch, Goldie, and Edmund, something about those voices drive me up the wall. And I just can't handle, it's difficult to watch this movie sometimes.
Well, like, when Goldie spoke, you're like, I want to punch something. You don't leave you sentence.
Like, I don't think I had it with Hunch when I was younger, but definitely with Edmund and Goldie, yeah, their voices are not at a good frequency.
And until he retreats into his mind palace, Edmund is such a whiny little, like I hate Edmund.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't great for a chunk of the story. His mind palace.
When he runs into his own iris.
Yeah, I think that was John that's noted the mind palace.
No, that was me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he served no purpose other than to point them towards the city initially, which didn't help anyways, because they just ended up there from the water flow. Mm-hmm. And then to be the sacrifice at the end that got the sun god to realize his worth and...
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he was...
I thought he was alright.
He was basically, he served a very similar role to whoever from Warriors of Virtue.
I found the kid from Warriors of Virtue to be way more annoying.
I can agree with that.
Like, at least, I found, Edmund, he, just for whatever reason, he wasn't as grating. Like, even though he didn't have a huge part of the plot, I thought he was fine. Like, he wasn't, great. I wouldn't call him, the greatest protagonist ever, but he was just, he was there. He was fine. He was a furry.
Yeah, this movie woke up a lot of people who didn't know they were furries yet, I'm very sure.
I also like how we all learned how to speak Italian. That was good too.
Hey, sometimes you start the movie and it's in Italian, and then you gotta find one in English. Okay, we should have waited for the songs and seen what that was like.
Oh, that would have been good.
I mean, we can still watch it.
You know, when the movie first started playing in Italian, I didn't catch the language, so I thought it was some Gregorian chant or something.
Do owls like rain?
They like not sun.
I don't think
know.
so.
Well, they like not light, apparently.
In real life, I don't think so. In animated, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't imagine rain is helpful for them. It would very much hinder their ability to hunt.
Yeah.
This movie was fun. It was fun. It was a nice little watch. I wouldn't call it my favorite animated movie ever. So I liked all the jokes we could make throughout this movie. Like when his dad enters through the door, I was like, "Is this a slasher movie?" In my beginning, because it really felt like a scene of like, poof, door opens up, dude walks in with big knife and starts murdering everybody. Because like the way they did the lighting and the shadows, like I was like, "Holy crap!" Like that's interesting. And then, of course, yeah, as soon as like the kid had the book, I was like, "Oh, great! I'm never gonna escape fantasy worlds with kids who go into fantasy worlds."
I bet you really hoped at the start of this one, like, oh, it's just a fantasy world. There's no kid gonna get trans. Fuck. Oh, there's this kid in this flood.
Yeah, cause he does like the song. I was like, okay, you know what, like you know, pretty solid song. And then just like, no, why?
Actually,
why?
the animate, like the transition from real world to animated was actually very good.
Yeah,
Watching the animation just crawl up everything.
Yeah, so I know we talked about like the ending was pretty bad, but I thought when the Duke first shows up, that seemed pretty all right.
Yeah,
Like the way the animated world interacted with the real world,
probably partially because of how much darker it was,
and also the way they split the scene.
Yeah, and there wasn't a moving character in it. So
yeah, it was very like it very much did seem like the animated world was like bursting into his room. It was cool.
Yeah, no, it was, so that was really good. Kid has bad speech impediment.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. It's why we thought he said I'm a furry. So like the kid leaves them with the magic weapon of this franchise, which is the flashlight, because it scares away owls. Why did they leave it on the whole time?
Because they're bad at resource management. They would not like that is the group you end up with when you're in a zombie apocalypse.
and the good party goes, like the party of useful people go to find the dude.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They're like the C team.
Yeah, they're
the A team went to go to the city.
They are not like Peepers should have been in charge of resource management, but Peepers was also very much necessary for them to succeed. So
I don't know why the magpie was part of the A team. He was a dick and a bitch.
He's
yeah.
He's also like, he struck me as the type of person who really wants you to know that he's straight, but is broadcasting very gay. He's constantly talking about chicks, but never actually like, you ever see him with a girl?
Yeah, what was that other line? What was it? The city, what was it? The lights, the chicks, the food, or something like that was what he said. That was a funny line. I kind of...
Well, I mean, besides Peepers, the only female animated characters are hens.
Oh, and Goldie.
She's a hen.
She's a pheasant. She's a golden pheasant. I guess that's a hen.
Her name is Goldie Pheasant. She might not be a pheasant.
Man, so watching this movie, so like kind of speaking about like animation quality, this movie is beautifully animated. Yes. Like watching this, it's like it's that era of animation, like absolutely beautiful. Don Bluth obviously has his style, so having watched like Land Before Time, like really brought all those memories back to me, and just the absolute like beauty and smoothness and just absolutely amazing. Like the backgrounds were really cool. The way everybody was animated, like I didn't really notice anything that felt off. Like it felt like every character felt so well done.
The finale or I guess the epilogue even, where he goes into their music video, that looked awful.
Yeah.
And that's the one section where I was like,
and I think a big thing with that is when you have an animated character in the real world, it looks nice. When you have a real world person in an animated world, it looks a bit worse.
Real bad. Yeah.
But especially, like, he looked like he was just on a green screen. Like, it was very obvious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you could see really it around him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real. Yeah, that was the only section. And, yeah, like, I don't even blame the animators for that, because I really feel like at that point there wasn't really a good way to do it.
Yeah.
So I kind of... I give the movie a pass because that section didn't have any plot importance and was just kind of like here's the ending of the ending.
Well, just have him in there in his fursona.
In his first persona.
Yes.
First of 3.
What else?
He was also a penguin and a lobster.
Oh, I forgot about the penguin.
I fucking love that gag. Like, come get your penguin suits. And you think it's gonna be tuxedos, but it's just literal penguin suits.
You were really into the animal, how much they were getting into the animal jokes in this one.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of this movie, just the animal jokes.
Yeah, and like a lot of the background art was really good. So like, one that stuck out to me was the owl's lair. Like the whole organ section was just incredible to look at.
Yeah.
And see brought to life. Where I was like, steampunk owls. This is incredible. Like just, so good. So this flood is biblical.
Yeah, he's on the second floor of his house, and the fucking water crashes through the window.
That was another one of the things we kept saying was because Edmund keeps asking if anyone's seen his parents. We were just like, they're dead, kid. Like the ground, like there's 18 feet of water. Your parents are dead. Just deal with it.
Yeah, super dead.
And he did not ask about his brothers, just his parents.
They're as dead as that cow they were trying to hang at the start of this movie.
Yeah.
It's like a cow stuck in a ditch, and he's like wrapping a rope around its neck and yelling at his wife.
Huh. Apparently, Patou's narration was added after test screenings because the audience found some scenes confusing.
I can absolutely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering why the dog was narrating. Like, his part didn't seem to warrant he'd be the narrator.
His voice warrants him to be the narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah. His voice is incredible.
The Duke's breath power emitting glowing geometrical and space-themed shapes was to avoid it being a single glowing color, which children may have found too frightening.
Huh. All right.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, this movie has a weird sense of, like, what children will find frightening and what they won't.
Also, there was a cut scene of the Duke cooking a live baby skunk into a pie.
Yeah, we see part of that where he has what's that fucking pizza, the flat wooden pizza thing that pizza people make?
A pizza peel.
Yeah, that's it. He put a pie on that and he put it in the oven, and then his nephew arrived.
There's a baby skunk in that pie.
There is, yeah.
So I like when they're all in the trunk and it closes and the water just comes in, and then we were like, they drown. Credits roll. End movie.
There were a couple of those moments.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Just like it's this movie. Like thinking about it, it's hard for me to really find things to criticize it on, other than like it being predictable. It's a good movie, but it's not a great movie. It doesn't rise. Like I find it doesn't rise above its subject matter. Like it doesn't. I'm trying to think of the actual concept, but like, it is what it is. Like it's a genre movie. It is what it is, but it doesn't rise above what it is. Like it's not more. It doesn't elevate film in any particular way. It doesn't do anything particularly special other than just
be a pretty simple story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With some like nice jokes and okay songs and stuff. There are other Don Bluth movies that like will blow your damn mind. I don't think this is not one of them, although it's cute in places. I like it a lot in places.
Yeah, like it is what it is, but it's nothing more. Like there's so many good moments.
I really like how in animated animal world, everything is of like weirdly proportioned sizes. Like everything is the right size for some things and very much not for a lot of other things.
The king progressing through Elvis's career at frightening pace. I like that, yeah.
Well, he just like was going through costumes very quickly. I don't know how long he was in the city, but he went from like 50s Elvis to 70s Elvis very, very fast.
That's Elvis Costello for you.
Yeah.
So
That I want to see that version of this movie.
So it would be fun to take the car chase scene and put the Mad Max Fury Road trailer music over it. The Brothers in Arms song, it's called.
Mad Max Furry Road.
Yeah. That's so good. Because all I could think of, like, I was like, this just looks like a scaled down part of Fury Road. What the hell, guys? Yeah, and then I guess, like, because the nephew probably of the owls shows up the most trying to attack them. This goes back to the not understanding what kids are afraid of. He has a giant fucking knife that he wants to go after people with and is constantly trying to murder them.
It's a Swiss Army knife.
I'm pretty sure it's a switchblade, isn't it?
No, it's a Swiss Army knife.
Is it? Okay, I must have.
It's a Swiss Army a lot of things.
Yeah,
Often
they
not a
use
knife.
it for... There's an umbrella in there.
There's also a fly swatter. Or apparently an owl swatter.
Maybe that's his magic power.
Maybe the Duke just made him that for, like, his birthday.
Bad move, Duke.
I like too. You're like, I really wanted to know what Snipes, or I really wanted Snipes to finish his thought there and just have him go on a misogynistic rant.
Oh, and Snipes is like, oh, that's women for you. It's like, go on, Snipes, please. Expand.
Yeah, finish your thought.
I like in the trailer, like, he's cutting a hole, and then after he cuts the hole open, he opens the hatch.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was so weird to me. Like, I was like, what? And he takes punishment. Like, he should have been dead like 20 times over the stuff that happens to him.
It's the residual magic torture that the Duke puts him through. Like, he body horrors him many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, their relationship's messed up.
Yeah, the manager, he's like another one of those characters similar to Goldie, where, like, as soon as he shows up, it's like, oh, okay, I know what you're doing this entire story.
Yeah. He was based on Elvis's actual manager, so.
Yeah. Which was like that was a cool piece of trivia, but, like, even just the way they introduce him and, like, their design for him, it's very obvious, like, what his role in the story is, and that's it and nothing more. And, like, he plays his role in the story adequately. But that kind of goes back to, again, the issue with the movie is that it just is. It's nothing beyond what it is. Like, it's just like, okay, here's the manager character. He smokes a cigar. He plays golf. He, like, plots to keep his star. Mm-hmm. He uses his power and position. He's greedy.
He hangs out the window of helicopters.
Yeah, that was really.
Why were those people? Were they waiting for his signal to make that heart for Chanticleer to see, or do they just do that?
Well, no. When you you just naturally gravitate to a heart shape when you're a fan of Chanticleer.
And when you gather in numbers for warmth, it can be seen from space.
Yeah.
You know, I was confused. So the managers, I don't know what the manager was going to do, because Chanticleer finds out that his friends want him back, and the manager says, no, you're going to finish this movie. And Chanticleer says no, and the manager, too bad, you're doing it. And then Chanticleer leaves. Like, I don't know what his plan was to keep Chanticleer there. He did nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have anything on him, so all he can do is hope that Chanticleer doesn't realize that.
Yeah, that was just very confusing.
He's got his frog bouncers.
Also a good pun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, that was good.
Also, their first and only musical number was very entertaining.
Yeah, why weren't they doing that the whole time?
I don't know.
Also, like, not how helicopters work.
Which part?
When they turn the helicopter upside down and mow through the house.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Not how helicopters work. And then part two.
When they roll the helicopter, just like scoop them up, and it has doors on both sides
that are open, yeah.
Or when they hit some switches and it causes the helicopter to disintegrate.
It just like starts losing parts. Oh.
Why do we have that button?
That finale really upped the stakes.
Yeah.
That finale was amazing. Simply because he goes Super Saiyan. Like, that sold the finale for me. Like, I was like, yes. Now to go even further beyond. Like...
Why is only the farm flooding?
No, they mentioned that the rains are expanding.
But, like, why just the farm and the surrounding town?
Because they're in a valley? I don't know.
There's there's a danger aqueduct pipe that leads straight into the city, and yet the city has no water issues.
It's an adequate pipe.
I think, like, the people who made this movie, their answer would be, like, this all takes place in the mind of a child whose home is being flooded.
Or they might just say, it doesn't matter, that's not the point of the story.
Yeah, which are both fucking cop-outs.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I remember, I think we talked about this a bit, like, in the Back to the Future episode, and Red Letter Media, who I watched, like, a lot of, they've also talked about this as well, where it's, like, sometimes when there's, even if it's, like, plot hole stuff, if it's not the point of the story, it gets to a point of, like, who the fuck cares, let's just watch the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, there's a scene in Looper, which they often use as an example, where Looper has, like, a time travel element to it. And two characters sit down, and they go, we could sit here all day talking about how time travel works, or we could, move on. Basically saying to the audience, like, the time travel isn't the point of the story.
Right.
The point of the story is this other thematic stuff that we're going over. And so, like, ever since, like, I've kind of heard those arguments, I've been on, like, unless it's really, really bad, I tend to just go, like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna... The point of the story isn't the flooding. The point of the story is getting Chanticleer back, fixing the mistake that the animals made, the kid becoming more courageous, as with all the stories of this type.
This one, like, happened very quickly, and but afterwards Edmund was, like, on it for the rest of the story.
Yeah,
I mean,
which I appreciated.
I mean, the point of the story is to regret being a dick to your friend when it affects you personally. That is the point of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, his friends turned on him real quick.
Yeah, it's like...
And only tried to come get him when they were going to die.
Yep.
It's very true. It's just like makes a mistake once. Oh, wow. Look at you, fucking poser.
And doesn't even make a mistake. A dude was hired to beat his ass, and he defended himself.
Yeah, he defended himself and the farm. Like,
the guy had knives tied to his feet.
Huh. That's like a cockfighting reference.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought during that scene it was reminiscent of a cockfight. I missed the knives, but yeah, that's a cockfight.
That's a thing that they do in cockfights. That's a weird thing to put in a kid's movie, but all right, I'm into it.
Yeah, this movie is weird. With, like, on one hand they go, let's, like, not include these, like, violent elements, and on the other hand, let's make a reference to cockfighting. Like, it's all good.
I mean, there was two cocks fighting, so what are you gonna do?
Put knives on one of their feet.
Yeah, put knives on their feet. Like...
Pigs don't eat mud.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I think they were just eating mud.
When we see the pigs, they're just like gross pigs eating mud and also covered in mud.
Also, the only one pig survived.
Yeah, a lot of the farm animals didn't
Wow.
make it during that. Like, there was a horse, mule, and cow. We do not see them.
Yeah,
they did.
This movie's pretty liberal with, like, there's a squirrel that is
the banjo
his musical.
squirrel.
Yeah, the classic farm animal, and then, like, the magpie that seems to be a woodpecker.
Who suffers from claustrophobia.
Oh, he suffers from, like, whatever it is to be most annoying. He's like that dude that shows up to play D&D and wants to be the bard, but is just an asshole.
He's
like, I'll be the party face, but what I mean is I'll hog all the attention and be a dick.
He suffers from other people suffering
I slap
from
the I slap the king. Yeah, I slap the king with my dick. Aren't I clever? Aren't I funny? Like, Yeah, or he's like the teammate who like I've seen this in movies and shows before where they're self-sabotaging essentially, like they're more dangerous as your friend than as your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such an annoying trope. Ugh.
Also, he liked lasagna,
Oh,
thus making him a fully fleshed out character.
He likes chicks, lights, the city, lasagna,
And not closed spaces.
yes.
I'd like to point out that we did see him enjoying food and lights, but he had no opinion about the chicks in the city. Just want to point that out.
True. And the city sequence was a bit weird because you see them talk to city people, which is a few headshots of various animals, like a shoe shining pigeon. But there's this weird scene where it's human-sized animal people.
Yep.
Like a human-sized dog in a dress and stuff. But all the animals we've seen are the size of what the animal typically is, except the owls, which are huge.
Well,
But I mean, even like the car, like I'd have to go back and check the proportions again, but like the farm animals are of similar size to Shanta or how do you pronounce it again?
Chanticleer.
Chanticleer.
And he is one of the farm animals, but like the mouse is tiny. I think the car was built for the fox. I think all the stuff there is built for the fox guy.
Yeah.
he's big, but also he likes big things.
Compensating. That like Zeppelin or no, the helicopter, was it a helicopter?
It was
like,
a
what were they
Chinook.
riding? Okay, yeah, Chinook. Yeah,
with a golf course.
Yeah, transportation helicopter. Yeah, it had like a whole golf, like that was an impressive inside. I gotta say, like luxury.
Like a golf course large enough to need a golf cart.
Yeah, the musical numbers were pretty solid overall. Like I can't think of one that I disliked.
Yeah, I mean some of them are really short.
Yeah,
It's about, like this is why I say it's like barely a musical. Like all the music happens in the fictions except for the owls who sing what they do. So yeah, I guess they're in a musical, like John said.
yeah, no, I agree with you. Where it's barely a musical. It's like musical light, which is fine. Like I'm fine with that. And like most of the music I thought was like pretty good, or at like worst just like kind of forgettable. The owl like villain numbers were definitely the best though.
Also, the frogs.
Oh yeah, the frogs were really good. Well,
The shortest ones.
Also, the villain ones.
does his mom like ever let him leave his bed?
No,
Yeah.
he has child disease.
He has that thing that the Willy Wonka grandparents have.
Yes, child disease. Not enough golden ticket in the diet.
Adult onset child disease.
Oh man, if
I mean, it'd be a stretch to call anyone in this movie a business dad. It's very disconcerting.
Yeah,
But we also don't really have bullies. Like there's
Yeah,
the
no
owls,
murder
but like
bullies.
not like the owls are a lot of murder, not that much bully.
yeah, they're not his peers.
Yeah, and yeah, we have a dad and a mom, and they farm, but they don't business.
Farm is a type of, I guess it's not really a type of business.
But I mean, can we have a child going into a fantasy world without murder bullies and business parents?
Business
Like
dads.
I didn't think that was business dads. I didn't even think that was possible.
Murder bully flood?
Yeah, the flood was bullying the earth.
nice farm, nerd.
It'd be a real shame if we just came in and wiped it out. Oh, look at this.
Oh, what's this? Is this your mom? What if I drowned her?
Just gonna destroy everything now.
I
No.
keep forgetting he had brothers.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
see
yeah.
them briefly.
It's kind of the Wizard of Oz thing of like Dorothy having siblings.
Does Dorothy have siblings?
I think she has at least one, yeah.
No, she has uncles.
Maybe. I don't I'm not an authority enough to speak on it.
You might have just blown my mind. I gotta go watch Wizard of Oz now.
I was gonna say, if you really want like a kid who's actually stuck in bed, sometime we should watch Brothers Lionheart.
Yeah, that's the type of narrative that really gets me going. I'm very excited for sick children. Ooh, boy.
No,
Secret Garden? Oh, man, that's exciting.
I thought the movie was paced pretty well. Like, it did what it had to do without being over long. Like I thought it was a fine length. Like, any longer and I feel like it would overstay its welcome. Any shorter and it'd be, like, cutting essential scenes. Not a
movie.
Yeah.
Like, 57 minutes is a crazy short length for a movie.
Yeah, especially in today's movie world of here's 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Not that I love Here's 3 Hours either, but oh gosh, so much of what I want to say has to do with other Don Bluth movies that we are going to watch. So I feel like I have to save it, but like, oh man. We have so many, like Thumbelina is on the list. Guys, this is going to be great.
Like you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but like, or talked about this a little bit earlier, but like, how does this movie compare to his other movies?
This would be very low on my list of his other movies.
Yeah, like I would put I'm trying to think of how many. I'd have to check how many Don Bluth movies I've actually watched unintentionally, but Land Before Time.
You've seen Anastasia, I think you said.
I've seen huge parts of it.
Okay, but like that's up there.
Yeah, like that ballroom scene alone. When I was a kid, I didn't really get Anastasia. Mm. Like I always thought like the green like monsters were neat and stuff. And then it's like, oh, she dances in a ballroom and there's stuff happening. And then, like, now that I've studied, like, Russian history in detail, I go, like, what the fuck? Whoa.
I definitely only saw it once at my babysitter's when I was younger.
Yeah, like, also who, like, Rasputin is and, like, other stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, like, Land Before Time I would put above this movie for sure.
Have you played Dragon's Lair?
No.
It's pretty good.
That's completely untrue.
What, Dragon's Lair?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't play I played the 90s one.
You don't have to lie just because you like Don Bluth.
The animation is cool. It's like the first 2D drawing video game, isn't it?
I believe it would have been, yeah. And it's horrible to play.
Yeah, we'll have to watch more of the Don Bluth movies, and then do maybe like a more overall look at everything that he's done.
I kind of want to know how like this stacks up for you, Tepper, against the other movies that you've watched as part of this.
Number one.
Drum roll, please. No, please, God, don't.
No, please do. Please do.
Please
Continue.
don't. Please do not.
Please do.
It can be added
Cowards.
in post.
Don't be cowards. Give me the drum roll. So I'd probably say Back to the Future.
That seems correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really debating between Back to the Future or Jumanji as my number one, but Back to the Future, yeah. Like, I just like the character interactions a fair bit more. And then I put my number two as Jumanji. My number three, I would put The Karate Kid.
Yep. This all makes sense so far.
Yep. This is a sensical list.
My number four...
Now it gets interesting.
I'd put Rock-a-Doodle.
Ooh.
My number five, I'd put Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I'm actually surprised.
It was a competent movie. Like, I can't deny it was a competent movie. And it definitely had its moments. So I'm at number 5 now. So it's just
So
6, 7. So
Never-Ending
it's-
Story and Warriors of
and
Virtue.
Warriors of Virtue.
Yeah,
Never
so
ending.
This is basically like, who do you want? Like, you know that one is my favorite childhood movie and the other is Connor's favorite childhood movie.
Komodo was so good.
It's a tough one.
I'm gonna have to go with Warriors of Virtue, simply because Komodo was so memorable.
Yeah.
Like he was so much. Whereas like Neverending Story was a movie, but I wouldn't say it was like a memorable movie. Like even though Warriors of Virtue is bad, like Warriors of Virtue is a trash movie, but it's such beautiful trash. It's
Now, if there was a Komodo sequel, that would probably be top of everyone's list.
yeah. Yeah, so I put Warriors of Virtue in my number 6 slot, only with the asterisk of only because of Komodo.
I don't think Connor would be angry about that statement.
Yeah, just because he kept me in that movie. Like when he rolls up in the chair, when he just like, oh man, it's so good. And then yeah, never ending story. Last. Not because it's a bad movie, like we've discussed it a lot, where like it's not a bad movie, it just kind of is. Like it's a very mediocre movie, especially in the space that like the type of story that it is of murder bullies, gang, murder bullies, fantasy world, like that stuff. You know, we've seen better movies that do that exact same concept way better. So yeah, that's my list so far.
Interesting. If you were gonna rank villains, I assume Komodo's at the top of the list.
Yeah. Okay. So villains.
We got Komodo. We got
Yeah.
Biff Tannen. We got the Cobra Kai. What else we got going on? The Archduke of Owls. I guess we count the wolf from Neverending Story as the villain.
Yeah, or
Gamork?
Yeah.
Van Pelt.
Oh, how could I forget?
This list is actually way harder than the last list.
Nice.
Cause
Cobra Kai.
Best
Murder bullies.
Get him a body bag, yeah, and like sweep the leg. I would say, okay, so I think I'll start from the bottom and go up for this one.
Bold strategy.
Bulgaria it would probably be my worst ones. Not necessarily because they were bad villains, but simply because they weren't memorable, especially compared to the rest of the list.
What if it's just the child catcher?
Oh.
I feel like Childcatcher's a much more compelling villain.
He is. Okay. Okay, so Childcatcher. Oh man, this list is actually so hard. Oh, fuck. Oh, this is hard.
Child catcher is so good.
Cause they were all good. Like actually though, like, they were all like they all had really good moments of villainy.
I feel like Gamork is the worst. Like, he just doesn't
Probably
get to live up to any of what he should.
Yeah, like that's where I was like tempted to say like he's the worst. And I agree with that assessment for sure. So I think I'll put, because like he has a cool design, but they don't do anything with him, and that was my main complaint about him in the podcast we did.
Yeah, this is a tough list.
Yeah, so like even as much as I'm probably gonna put him last, that's kind of like, again, with like an asterisk of like he looks cool, but they never capitalize on who he is, kind of.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm sure we can get to worse villains in later movies.
Oh yeah. Like I'm sure we'll find worse ones. I guess I'll put the child catcher at 6.
All right, bold, but I can see it. It's a tough list we have so far.
Now it gets real tough.
Yeah. See.
If the child catcher was in a little bit more of the movie, I'd probably put him above Van Pelt.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's my thing with the child catcher. Like, he was fun, like he was decent villain, but he wasn't really in enough of it. I guess we'll put Van Pelt next.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too.
Because like Van Pelt was good, but he suffers from the same issue that the child catcher suffers from, where he wasn't in enough of the movie. And you don't really explore who he is enough.
No, he's very much just a threat of growing into your father.
Yeah, he's a force of nature. Like he shows up, he does stuff.
Kind of similar to Gamork, but it's executed much better.
Yes, because he's an active threat. Because that was the problem with Gamork and I complained about that a lot in the first podcast.
He shows up in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and doesn't even realize he's supposed to be killing the person he's talking to.
He jumps at him once.
Well, he does after he realizes who he is.
Oh no! Yeah, I'm saying earlier in the movie. But there's no interaction. Then at the end, he gives a monologue, jumps, dies, and it was just the weakest. What a waste of such a cool design.
Who's your number 3?
Number 4.
Yeah, I'm on 4.
Yep.
God, this is hard. I think I'll go with Biff on this one, simply because Biff is so standard, bully, but without being as fun as the other 3. The Cobra Kai were kind of a group, and we're kind of actually way more murderous than him. Biff tried to run Marty into a car, but the Cobra Kai actively beat up the kid and celebrated trying to hurt him very badly.
Yeah.
To the point of being unsportsmanlike. So I'm gonna put Biff at 4. But it was a close one with probably whoever I'm going to put in 3.
Yeah, so our top 3 are Cobra Kai, the Duke of Owls, and Komodo.
I just want this to be the real world. I want all these people living in a house, having to deal with each other and do challenges.
Big Brother Villain Edition.
Oh, yeah.
The real world, never end the story.
Isn't it though?
A group of owls or a group of jerk Californians.
Yeah,
that know karate.
I think I'm gonna go with Cobra Kai on this one.
Oh wow!
Really?
See, the Archduke,
he's got so much going for him.
I really liked Christopher Plummer's performance as the Archduke.
That's fair.
He's almost Komodo.
The way he delivered, if I kill my nephew, is it murder or is it charity? That's good. I like that. That's so good. And he just has a bunch of or when he's on the phone, I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's when their batteries fade, we're gonna have some very good dinner. You better hurry up if just the way he threatens, and there's a whole bunch of them that just popped up where I'm that's so good.
Okay, so number 2, Duke of Owls, number 1, with a bullet.
Hey now, technically, we didn't put owls at 2nd.
Yeah, we haven't put them there yet.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm gonna put the Archduke at 2nd.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is he the Archduke? I think I said that, but I think he's just the Duke of Owls.
Oh, okay.
Either way.
Yeah, maybe he's just the Duke. So, the Duke was a solid villain in a solid movie. Komodo was the shining light in an otherwise absolutely forgettable bad action movie. He single-handedly saved our watch from us basically just shitting all over that movie. So I gotta give him bonus points for that. I actually do. Yeah, if that movie was slightly more competent, I probably would it would be a bit more equal between the two, but yeah, like Komodo carries that movie.
Definitely.
So I got to respect that and put him at number 1.
Okay. Does anyone remember what the names of the children from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang are?
Are we rating children?
No.
Are we rating main characters?
Nope.
Because that I think would be very boring.
Oh no.
I know the girl's Jemima because I kept remembering that that's maple syrup.
Okay, so Jemima and Chitty Chitty Boy Boy. Okay. Tepper, it's Hunger Games. we got 7 kids, a group of 2 kids. We got Ryan. We got Bastion. We got Edmund from this movie. We got Kid Robin Williams. We got Ralph Macchio, Marty McFly, and Jemima and Chitty Chitty Boy Boy. Who's coming out of there and representing for their district?
Okay, so before we begin, is Ryan not disabled?
Ooh.
That's a strong question.
If there is a magical world element, I think they get their magical world powers.
Daniel LaRusso, that's it.
Yeah.
I think I just gave Marty McFly a time machine by my rules as written, but I think that's fine.
I mean, well, like, he's not the only one with a supercar.
Oh,
Chitty gonna
Good
fuck him
point.
up. Although they're not old enough to drive, but also Chitty drives itself.
Death battle between Chitty and...
Well, I mean, you tell us who's coming out of it. Who goes down first? Who's coming out of this?
Okay,
Like, man, Ryan really gets the short end of the stick by going to a magic world where he's allowed to walk.
Yeah, and like...
And he gets the power to help magic dudes do a magic thing.
Well, he mostly gets the power to walk.
Fair. And lose books.
And, well, like, Bastion has unlimited... Like, he just has the power of his imagination.
I'm gonna say Ryan dies first.
Oof.
That seems completely fair. But does he spur on anyone into victory by doing so?
No, he dies useless. Just like he was in the story.
Who loses their power by killing him?
I'm gonna say Edmund dies second.
Yeah, also correct. That's how both of them acted in the movie.
Yeah. Then
Living up to our expectations.
I just gotta say at this point, I think Ryan would beat the snot out of Bastion.
But, like, Bastion, again, has he can do literally anything.
I don't think he would, though.
He would ride around on Falcor. Like,
Fair. That would put him in the Chitty
Yeah.
Chitty Bang Bang
not being part
DeLorean
of this
fight.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. Does Alan Parrish have his powers of 20 years in a jungle?
Are we including him in this battle?
That would
Because
be
if we're including him in this battle, he's probably gonna win.
if it's
No,
just
I think it's Judy and Peter.
it'd be so
Yeah.
great though if it was just all of these like 10-year-olds and then Robin Williams. 20 years in a jungle. Also, a very hard to license video game where a fighting video game where you play actors and your powers are the characters they've played.
Okay,
that's cool.
So
I'm just
yeah,
like,
Edmund dies second.
because I was just thinking of like Robin Williams just like summoning Genie. Very hard to license video game.
I think I'll say Bastion dies third.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Like,
he doesn't have it in him to imagine people to death.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, like, Judy and Peter are getting close to the end of their usefulness, but, like, Peter's a trap master and Judy's a sociopath.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like they're resourceful, whereas like Bastion, like over the course of his story, like he just learns that he should call his pet dragon in to do everything for him.
Yeah, he goes off to draw unicorns and, like, Ralph Macchio kicks him to death or something.
Sweeps the leg.
His name is Daniel.
Sorry, Daniel.
Stick to the character names.
We're just gonna keep calling him Ralph Macchio now.
To be fair, Ralph Macchio is a way better name for the main character of a fighting movie.
Yeah, easily. Okay, this is where it gets harder. Okay, I'm gonna say Jemima and Jeremy die fourth.
Yeah, there's only so much Chidi can do.
Yeah.
They're very dumb kids.
And, like, this is where they're starting to get up against some pretty damn, like, heavy competition. Because, like, yeah, they're, like, if they were older, I'd give them a way bigger chance. But they're like, young. So, yeah, I'm saying they die fourth. Now this is where it gets hard.
Right?
Because, like...
Everyone else, like, now we're down to competent people.
Yeah, because, like, the kids are, like a sociopath and a trap master. We've got a dude who does karate, and we've got, like, a resourceful kid with a time-traveling car.
Well, who have the ability to kill another child?
I think
Daniel?
Ralph Macchio, right?
yeah.
Oh,
Ralph
sorry,
Macchio.
Daniel. I really mean to say Daniel.
Yeah, see, like, Ralph Macchio's got the killer edge in this one. Like, because, like he, no hesitation, just got into a fight.
He demonstrates, I think more importantly, he demonstrates the physical ability to cause harm.
Yeah. So that's where...
Like, Marty harms people by, like, getting them to chase him into bad situations.
I can just imagine, like, the kids try to trap him, start chasing him, and then they just run into open traffic and get hit by a truck.
Well, I think in this scenario, he would lead them to the Karate Kid and have him kill them.
Oh my god. They're just, like, chasing after him, turn the corner, Karate Kid, and Ralph Macchio's there. Just...
Daniel, that's...
Daniel.
Yeah. Like, of course, this isn't a winning strategy, but it does get rid of the competition.
You know what? Like, just for the image that created in my mind, Jumanji kids die fifth.
That brings us to a incredible showdown.
Yeah, this is... Okay, so... I feel like I gotta give this one to Ralph Macchio.
Ooh, he almost said Daniel.
Simply because, like, yeah, like he has no problem just fighting people. Like, whereas everybody else in the list generally, like, they're scrappy, but in, like, a let's get out of this situation sense, and don't actively confront people in physical altercations. Like Marty will go, did stuff to Biff where he's like, oh, like, shove off, dude, and then, like, run away, and then, like, lead Biff into, like, harm. So, it really depends how, like, Marty plays the fight, because, like, he could, for example, like, use Ralph Macchio's, like, hothead status against him, and then, like, basically have him defeat himself.
They're very similar.
Yeah.
Too. Like, they're both have a problem of they will not back down when they should.
Yeah. So, you know what I might even do is, they fall in love, earn the crowd's favor, and are both let out.
Oh my god.
What a beautiful romance.
What's...
And so the final results?
Ryan dies first, Edmund dies second, Bastian dies third, Jemima and Jeremy die fourth, Judy and Peter die fifth, Marty and Daniel fall in love, earn the crowd's favor, and are both allowed to live.
I like that ending.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going with for our heroes' Hunger Games.
All right.
Yeah, we stopped talking about the movie a while ago.
I mean, to some degree.
Yeah.
You never stop talking about Rock-a-Doodle.
I mean, to an extent, part of like with this discussion is we want to discuss Rock-a-Doodle in the context of Don Bluth's other works, which I've only watched. Like, I gotta have to check his full filmography, but I've probably only watched like a couple of them. So I think I feel like Rock-a-Doodle is going to come up a lot when we watch other Don Bluth films.
Especially the other musicals.
Yeah.
Some of them are musicals and some of them aren't, and I will not let anyone tell you which ones are and which ones aren't.
You're a terrible person. May all the movies you find be in Italian.
With that, though, I think we'll rate the movie and then wrap this up. What do you think, Chris?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to give this 2 remaining batteries out of the 6 that you need to stay alive.
Shana?
I give this 1 live-action child out of 30 animated characters.
I give this movie 1 biblical flood out of 3.
I'll give this movie 5 owl musical numbers out of everything.
Oh. I don't know if that's great or horrible.
That's 0, I think. Like 5 out of infinite is still 0.
It's not infinite, it's just everything. I've been your host, Ivan.
I'm Chris.
I'm Shana.
And I'm Tepper.
And you can find us all on downloadablezebras.com. And a special thanks to 8-Bit Jazz for the use of our theme song. You can find them on YouTube or follow the link in the description.